Boston Goblins trick-or-treaters of all types, welcome into the bunker of General Gridiron, Field Marshal of football forecasting. We're about to map out the way this scary college football weekend is gonna go. Will your favorite team be marching to victory, or will the enemy be taking your battle flag this 9th weekend of college football? Halloween means plenty of football teams will be putting on their best costume. The only question is, will it be enough to scare the opponent away? Will the ghost of Hoosier past haunt Penn State this week when it hosts number 3 Ohio State? And the 116th meeting of the rivalry takes place in Waco as TCU tries to spook Baylor. So grab your helmet and jack-o'-lanterns too and man those battle stations. We're ready for another round of General Gridiron's football foretelling. Michigan State at Michigan. The Paul Bunyan Governor of Michigan Trophy is the keepsake handed out when these two in-state Big Teners assemble in the Big House at high noon. Not sure how many Michiganders want to grab hold of anything connected with shutdowner-in-chief Gretchen Whitmer, but both clubs will be unmasked this day with hopes of whooping the other. Throughout the last decade, this rivalry has been evenly matched, but the Weasels do have a 2-game win streak entering this weekend. New Spartan coach Mel Tucker is commanding his first engagement against the Maize and Blue, and he'll need Sparty to be extra spunky, which will not happen. Timber! Paul Bunyan, there's a blowout a-coming. The Generals victor, Michigan. LSU at Auburn. Two SEC West foes that desperately needed wins now face off on the plains. Last Saturday, the crawfish beignet variety of Tigers seemed to be the kind of beast we've grown used to seeing in recent years, destroying inferior SEC opponents with ease. Meanwhile, the white barbecue sauce pecan pie variety of Tiger eked out a win in the Shark Tank, perhaps with another assist from SEC officiating. Freshman quarterback T.J. Finley threw 265 yards and completed 81% of his passes against South Carolina. He'll suit up opposite last year's nimble newcomer, Bo Nix. The passing game for both ball clubs will open up, but that Tiger backfield, the Auburn one, will give them just enough candy to fill the jack-o'-lantern. The Generals victor, Auburn. Indiana at Rutgers. For the first time in recorded history, a major national media outlet, in this case, General Gridiron, is actually giving this Big Ten meetup more than a passing glance. It's the General that's saluting both of these forgotten footballers after their first week suiting up. The State University of New Jersey socked it to Michigan State on the road, and IU pulled off its first win against the top 10 program since way back in 1987, when the Hoosiers last week snuck past Penn State in OT. Greg Schiano is back at the helm in Piscataway, following a 2011 exit for the Bright Lights of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. The program that won the first ever college football game back in 1869 can now turn heads once again if this win propels them to a 2-0 start. The Crimson and Cream of IU will come to the Jersey Shore for a treat, but they'll be the ones that'll end up getting tricked. The Generals victor, Rutgers. TCU at Baylor. The Rivalry, certainly one of the coolest monikers given to a rivalry game in college football. Now that both faith-based institutions are back playing in the same conference, prayers have been answered that this game can go on uninterrupted. Can I have an amen? Horned Frog hops on down to the Brazos' banks a little gimpy. The land grabbers from Norman snuck out early last week, and Gary Patterson's reptiles never could catch them. The Aranda Army is gearing up for a jump start like OU's, and if the Baylor line is strong from the jump in this mid-afternoon affair, the Bears will squish the Horny Toads with relative ease. The Generals victor, Baylor. Arkansas at Texas A&M. Due to COVID-19, the Southwest Classic won't be in Arlington this weekend. I think that'll be okay. The World Series was just held a long ball shot from Jerry World. Kudos to the Metroplex and the Texas Rangers Globe Life Field for hosting both the NLCS and the Dodgers and Rays in the Fall Classic. So, for the first time since A&M joined the SEC, this game will be back at Kyle Field. That magical Johnny football year of 2012 also marked the beginning of the 12th man's win streak against the Hogs. Count them up, 8 straight W's for the Milkmen. And that trend will continue with this SEC Network primetime pairing. The Generals victor, Texas A&M. Football frights are coming Saturday night. Ohio State and Penn State get it on in a Big Ten East slobber knocker. And the Fremont Cannon rivalry game will be played at Allegiant Stadium. Who the heck plays in this one? I'll tell you who and all the big winners after I run to the back and grab my stash of treats. General Gridiron will be right back. Don't you be scared. This is General Gridiron back with you. Each week, this fabulous football forecast is heard on some of the finest radio stations all over America. In Destin, Florida, on WTKE FM 100.3, 93.5, and 97.1. The Ticket Sports Network on the white sandy beaches of Destin, Fort Walton Beach, Pensacola, and Panama City, Florida. And KEWI AM 690, Fox Sports Arkansas, in Little Rock, Arkansas. We appreciate all of our radio affiliates. Now, let's get back into the football fight. Memphis at Cincinnati. The U of M and UC have been two of the best darn football teams suiting up for the American. In fact, the Tigers are the conference's defending champ. But it's the Queen City Kitties that are currently flawless and ranked number 7 in the latest AP poll. In a way only 2020 can do it, Bearcat defensive standout Kobe Bryant, spelled C-O-B-Y and named after the late Lakers great that perished in January, is using Mamba mentality to crush the opposition. That D will be doing their thing versus the West Tennesseans, and Luke Fickell's offense will have him smiling like Frisch's big boy. The Generals victor, Cincinnati. Missouri at Florida. If the Georgia Bulldogs can't run away with the East Crown, why not these two see if they can give the Canines a little competition? UF got coronavirus against LSU back on October 17th, then coronavirus again for the October 24th home game against Mizzou. Thankfully, these two are playing on this Halloween night. That LSU game's been rescheduled for December 12th. After 2 unexpected Saturdays off, Dan Mullen's Water Lizards might be a little lethargic. But after the Aggies' walk-off win the last time Orange and Blue suited up, the visored one will be sure not to let this game be an epic meltdown at Florida Field. Albert takes a big bite out of Drinkwitz. The Generals victor, Florida. Coastal Carolina at Georgia State. Kudos to the teal and bronze French Gamecocks from Horry County, South Carolina. This week, Coastal moved into the top 20 of college football, an amazing high for a program that's only existed for about 15 years and has never attracted more than 18,000 to its home stadium on the Grand Strand. While the Chanticleers are soaking up the headlines in the Sun Belt Conference these days, don't sleep on the Big City Cats from the ATL. A big kudo to head coach Sean Elliott for just inking a 3-year contract extension last week. His new annual salary will be $750,000. The 5-0 Chants and the 2-2 Panthers will scratch, claw, and then scratch some more in this fall classic at Turner Field. The Generals victor, Georgia State in an upset. Ohio State at Penn State. These two first collided back in 1912, a 37-zip thumping by Pennsylvania State College. The General is going to make a gutsy call. This 2020 contest will have a final score similar to that meeting from 108 years ago, but it won't be the home team putting up the points during this ABC primetime broadcast. As the Big Ten finally got back on the gridiron last week, we didn't see the Ohio slogging around like the season was halfway over. Instead, Coach Day's number 3 Nuts piled it on inferior competition. And just as the young'uns go out at sunset looking for candy on this scary Saturday night, the felines will be the ones running for Mount Nittany in fright. The Generals victor, Ohio State. Nevada at UNLV. The battle for the Fremont Cannon. And it's going home with one of these two. But the bigger line in Vegas ain't about that gun. It's about this Silver State rivalry being the first college football game played at Allegiant Stadium, new home of both the Las Vegas Raiders and the UNLV Rebels. Senior quarterback Max Gillum will be under center at the Death Star for the Rebs. His offense didn't have a lot of Las Vegas luck in the opener at SDSU. With UNR's hot hand in its Mountain West debut, the Pack slips into Sin City ready to give the 2,000 fans allowed into Allegiant a show perfect for the Strip in this Fox Sports 1 Halloween night thrill ride. The Generals victor, Nevada in a super-duper close one. We've already looked at the Sugar-Filled Weekend's biggest battles across the land. But don't take your costume off, there's more around the corner. We'll be back in just a moment to wrap up this week's General Gridiron with our rapid-fire picks. Trick or treat! This is General Gridiron back with you. We've already maneuvered through this wicked weekend's frontline college football showdowns. Now it's time to get your pumpkins ready and storm the neighborhood with our rapid-fire football forecast, Halloween candy style. Purdue beats the bit of honey out of Illinois. Alabama Jolly Ranchers Mississippi State. Kansas State Kit Kats West Virginia. Clemson Three Musketeers Boston College. Central Arkansas Nestle Crunches Missouri Western. Tulane Tootsie Pops Temple. SMU Godiva's Navy. North Carolina Fun Dips Virginia. Georgia Starburst Kentucky. Northwestern Rice Krispie Treats Iowa. UCF Jelly Bellies Houston. Oklahoma Laffy Taffies Texas Tech. Louisiana Twizzlers Texas State. Notre Dame Gobstoppers Georgia Tech. Wisconsin gets its Hershey Kisses at Nebraska. Mercer Milky Way's Abilene Christian. Virginia Tech Snickers past Louisville. Oklahoma State turns Texas into Reese's Pieces. Mississippi M&M's Vanderbilt. And BYU Butterfingers Western Kentucky. Well, Halloween troopers, you can now put your swords back in their scabbards. We're all out of picks on this Week 9 edition of General Gridiron. We'll be back again next week. Same General Gridiron time, same General Gridiron station. So don't forget to tune us in on the radio, Facebook, YouTube, TV, and at Yall.com, the ultimate guide to the South. And don't forget to tell your friends all about the show. Simply search for General Gridiron. This is John Rawl, the General of Gridiron Glory, thanking you for letting me be part of your Halloween weekend. General Gridiron is a production of Yall.com. For more, log on to the ultimate guide to the South.
That'll be all.